Hello everyone, welcome along to Chargers TV. I hope you had a good Easter break as we are coming to you from Swisher Hoops Academy here in downtown Hobart. Ron Riggs, Justin Bryan alongside you here. JB, welcome to you.
Good to see you, Ronnie. Yes, a big shout out to everybody. Hope you enjoyed your Easter. Ronnie, you went west for a little bit and really kicked back for a couple of days.
Absolutely, I did. Shout out to my Uncle Cliff and Auntie Sue. They'll be watching this as well too. They're big fans of the show, JB.
Good friends of the program. Of course, I went up to Launceston and watched Dad's horse get its third victory. So, just a nice little break, Ronnie. It was good, but of course, the basketball season rolls on and we're about to roll into round two.
Absolutely. Round two of the Coles Express NBL1 South season will continue this weekend for the McKay Timber Hobart Chargers. Road trips to Dandenong and Ringwood. And, of course, Ringwood, the defending champions in the Southern Women's Conference as well too. So we'll touch a little bit on that later. They've got Dandenong first up. So JB, let's just get straight into it. Saturday night, they're up against Dandenong at the Dandenong Basketball Stadium, which should be a really good game. Now, historically, Dandenong have been pretty good. They've brought some really good teams along in years gone by. This year, off to a little bit of a slow start, I think, if just by looking at the results, before we came on and recorded. But what do we think in the women's game? Can we see the women go up a notch from that game against the Tornadoes up in Ulverston?
Well, I think they've got no choice, Ronnie. I mean, speaking to Coach Dwayne Davey, having spoken to players and a sort, realistically, that's the absolute bottom line, bottom of the pile, the dregs of the barrel, so to speak, as far as a performance. So for the girls, they're really going to have to tighten up. They're really going to have to dedicate themselves. They're going to have to play hard. And the big thing as well, particularly if you're Dandenong and you've watched the scout there, you're seeing that Launceston played them 90 feet for around 35, 40 minutes of that game on both ends of the floor. So they're going to have to be ready for the pressure. The big help coming out of that, though, the fact is that, as we hinted at in our show after we announced it last week, Paige Bradley is back with the team, Ronnie. And, of course, that's going to change a lot of dynamics within that team. Again, they're going to have to get used to Paige being back into the lineup. Of course, Angeliki's in the lineup as well. You would have to assume that a Kayla Steindl, that Lauren Mills, and then you're certainly looking at who's potentially going to play that three spot there. Do they go small like they did with Finlayson to start? Do they start Bartlett? Does Jazz Ashland move up a little bit in the rotation? Having had good conversations with her, she's pretty upbeat about the way her game's going at the moment. So they've got options at the moment, but I think the big thing, as we mentioned, Ron, it's that intensity. It's looking after that pressure. How they go, I don't know. I feel if you're on the road, particularly from a Tasmanian point of view, if you're going to split the road trip, Saturday night's the game you've got to get, because it's pretty much a 15, 16-hour turnaround to your very next game. And, of course, if you're flying over day of and trying to get your legs underneath you, the last thing you want is to stop and then go again. So if there's a game they're going to get, it's going to be Dandenong on the Saturday night. But as we mentioned, Ronnie, Dandenong historically have put out some really competitive units. They're going to be at home. They didn't have the greatest start to the season either. And if you're going up against Hobart and you're seeing an opportunity to really cash in, they're going to bring the heat as well. So a really interesting game, a really tough game. Tough to call. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, you would have to be going with probably Dandenong at home. But for Hobart, again, it's taking that next step. It's building up after what their first game was. So, again, it's only in a positive direction here for the Chargers, but they do need to make a statement on the road.
Absolutely, they do. And then on Sunday, they will take on the defending Southern Conference champions in the Ringwood Hawks as well, too. Of course, they are the NBL1 runners up to nationwide as well. So, going to be a tough backup on Sunday at 12 o'clock when they take on the defending champs.
Yeah, it's going to be a big battle there. And I think that's one, Ronnie, that even though we are Chargers TV, that's a game that we probably would expect Ringwood to win. But again, it's a learning curve. It's something that our women's team needs to look at and go, okay, we're going up against the defending champs. We're going up against one of the two best teams in the country that isn't playing in the WNBL. That's something that we're going to really need to pride ourselves on. And, of course, this is where the veteran experience of someone like a Paige Bradley helps, where someone like a Kayla Steindl helps out. Of course, we talk about Angeliki. She's only young, but she's played a lot of basketball for her age. This is something, where she'll want to pride herself in stepping up. Lauren Mills, again, on the back-to-back. She would have dealt with this sort of stuff in college, so, it's good to have her in the lineup as well. But it's your Zoe Banks, it's your Ruby Aarons, it's your Leah Bartlett. It's coming into that next phase, taking that next step, and seeing what you can do against, some really high-quality talent in the Ringwood Hawks. So we will see what goes on there. Again, I think that was probably going to be a Ringwood game, particularly on the Sunday. I wouldn't be shocked either if that's Ringwood's only game for the road schedule. It'd be interesting to see what goes on there in the round. But yeah, I have a feeling Ringwood's probably going to get that one. But again, the girls have to pride themselves going on the road, setting the tone, really living up to expectation and, being really competitive, particularly when you're building from what round one was.
Absolutely, JB. And, going to be a tough road trip for the women's side, but hopefully they can split it 1-1. Dwayne Davey obviously addressed the media this week as well too, JB?
Yep, absolutely. We got Dwayne in front of camera. We also had Angeliki out in front of camera and Paige Bradley out in front of camera as well. You can check those interviews out on right here at Chargers TV on our YouTube channel. But here's a snippet from from all three involved in the women's program: Dwayne Davey, Angeliki Vinceleu, and Paige Bradley.
Yeah, well, there's no easy games. Obviously, we're playing Dandenong in the first one, who I think finished last in 2022, but have bolstered their roster again, and they'll be a very tough opponent. And then on the Sunday we play Ringwood, who are the reigning champions. So obviously both games are going to be pretty challenging, but I think we're up for the fight, and we want to, as I said, put a good performance out there and have a little bit of a response after a bit of a false start. So looking forward to that challenge.
Absolutely. I think I came out a little more timid at the beginning of last year, just trying to get used to the style of play and what was put in place. And now that I'm a little more comfortable with offenses, defenses, and what Dwayne wants, then I think I'll be able to, get more of my potential out of sort of what I saw at the end of last year. So.
Okay, so first of all, I'm a winner. I like to win, and this is something that I can bring in this team. I can bring also a lot of experience because we're a young team. So we need some players that they can lead this team. I can be one of them, and that's what coach asked from me. I'm sure I can do it. I just need time, to adjust. And of course, I'm always a positive person, so I can bring energy, I can bring some good actions, and I'm sure it will be good at the end of the day.
The thoughts there from Angeliki, Paige, and also head coach Dwayne Davey previewing the road trip this weekend. Right, let's turn our attention to the men's side of things now, JB, and of course they also take on Dandenong and Ringwood as well too. What are we expecting on Saturday night from the men?
I think the men are going to be a far better outfit than they were in their first hit out, Ronnie. It seems historically that the Chargers men just don't seem to get over the line in round one. That seems to have just been a pattern forever. And they had a really good first half going up against Northwest Thunder. It was that third term that let them down ultimately, but again, Devon Watson's got 2 weeks under his belt. Sam McDaniel, gelling with Devon. You've got the likes of Ollie Angerstein now that's had his, he's had game time now as well. Something for him to work through. I think the team's going to be far better for it. Again, if you are Anthony Stewart and you are the Chargers men's side, again, it isn't the easiest of road trips, but it's certainly an obtainable road trip. I would think that, again, we're looking at a 1-1 split here for the men, and ideally it is going to be Saturday night against Dandenong. Of course, the Rangers have also historically, Ronnie, they've put out some pretty good teams as well in the men. So, I mean, this is a real good litmus test, so to speak. But again, as Stewie mentioned in his grab, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but as Stewie mentioned in his press conference this week, Ronnie, the average age of the bench going on the road this weekend, 19.
Yes.
So we're
very
playing,
young.
It's a really young group of kids. And I think the big thing for the kids as well, I mean, you've obviously got your Jacob Richards, you've obviously got your Geordie Hargraves and the like that have been around the program for a while. But the thing for the young kids is being confident and playing with confidence and trusting their game on the road. There's a reason they're in the team. It's not because all of a sudden we're really short of players. No, you're good enough to make the grade. That's why you're in the grade. Someone like Sam, someone like Devon, and someone like Ollie's not going to sit there and kick out a ball to you for the sake of you getting a shot. They're throwing the ball out to you because they know you can make the shot and they know you can make the play. So getting on the road, they've got to breed that confidence amongst themselves. They've got to be confident and go out. As Coach Stewart has mentioned, of course, it's a learning curve and he's not going to coach any differently. We know how Stewie coaches,
Absolutely.
of course. So, that's something that they're probably going to have to grit and bear for a little bit, but it's only going to put them in the right direction. So, again, I think Dandenong is going to be the big one. And, of course, with that young bench, yeah, you might have played, back-to-backs, and you might have played at different levels, and you might have played school tournaments, but playing a school tournament 2 games, in 2 days isn't 2 NBL1 level games in 16 hours. So for the guys to then back up the following day against Ringwood, that's where the real professional level test. This is where, how hard are you working in the off-season? How hard are you working at practice? How hard are you working individually with your extra sessions? How well are you dieting? How well are you going in the gym? All the things that really add up to be playing at the NBL1 level. This is where the real test comes in for some of these young guys. So again, I think it should be a split. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Chargers get at least one of those games there. I'd be picking it's the Saturday night game, as we mentioned, Ronnie. But again, it's the secondary backup, it's the second day, it's the young bench, it's the build-up of the energy and the lactic acid, and just trying to really push through on game 2 as well. That's going to probably see as well where they sit as a team as much as opening night, because at the end of the day, these are the kind of challenges they're going to need to face, they're going to need to work through and build upon if they're going to be the next generation of Chargers players.
Absolutely, and Anthony Stewart spoke with the media on Wednesday. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Yeah, but it's next man up. So I think average age off the bench this week is 19. So we've got a lot of young blood. And as I said, 7 out of the 9 on the road are all Hobart-born players. So we're pretty proud of that. And we'll go and knock on Dandenong's door and then Ringwood. And if we can scrape a win out, we'd be really happy.
So the thoughts there from head coach Anthony Stewart, and of course you could see the rest of the press conference on our YouTube channel as well.
Make sure you've got a nice block of time though, Stu. We got about 10 minutes worth of me time in front of the press there, for his first press conference of the season there, but no, very detailed there from Coach Stewart.
Very, very good. All right, you can follow the Hobart Chargers on their social media because once again, we are pumping out social media left, right and centre, JB.
Flat chat right now,
huge announcements, and of course some player sponsorship announcements as well too. You can check that out. So you can like us on Facebook. You can like us on. You can follow us on Twitter. Yep. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we've just mentioned as well too. So keep up to date with all the goings on here at the McKay Timber Hobart Chargers. And yes, player sponsorships are still available. So make sure you get in touch with the club if you are a business out there or a small business that wants to get involved. Come contact us because we would love to have you on board as a sponsor.
Absolutely. At the moment, we've got Hank Petrusma, EIS Property with Lauren Mills. We have Bulk Nutrients. We have Jazz Ashland and Phoenix Roby. And, of course, Pars Heat Pump Centre with Brooklyn Bruton. So a big thank you to all of those guys there.
And, of course, thank you to all of our other sponsors as well too. We're looking forward to getting JB's roll call going next Friday night. I can't wait to preview our home games next week, JB. It's going to be an absolute ripper because we are keen as mustard to get on the airwaves as well too and call our first game for the season.
Absolutely. Back-to-back nights too, the 21st and the 22nd. So it's going to be a busy weekend of basketball indeed.
Absolutely. Stay tuned on Chargers TV next week where we'll preview those 2 home games coming up along with reviewing this weekend's games as well too.
Huge episode.
So now we've got a couple of plugs to give because there is a lot happening. As much as we enjoyed the Easter break, there was still some work to be done.
A lot to be done.
Now, if we don't have the graphic for this, JB, I'm just going to hold this up on the screen right here. It is the Shootathon. The annual Shootathon once again is going to be in full swing, run by the Glenorchy Basketball Association and led by Simon Hall, basketball extraordinaire. And
Superfan extraordinaire.
Yes, superfan extraordinaire, JB. As you mentioned, it's only a 12-hour one this time, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But it's still a fun night or fun day of shooting hoops.
It was a sensational night last year, Ronnie. You and I were here to the very wee hours of the morning in the 24-hour version of the event. And, just really good. A lot of local businesses supporting, a lot of players shooting, a lot of activity going on. Of course, I might even see whether we can get Simon to send us through the full thing of that. We'll get that one up on the screen for a few more details there. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, May 20th there as I just have a look here at Swisher, but of course it's going to be across Launceston as well, up in Boland Street, and obviously here in the city. You can register as an individual, you can register as a team, whether that's a club or your friends, all of that sort of stuff there. Raise some really important funds for Ronald McDonald House, Ronnie. Over 110,000 across 2 years with the Shootathon here. And just checking out the press conference that went to air, which was recorded on the Wednesday here in Hobart. That's over 600 nights of accommodation for families that really need that assistance there. So the money goes a long way. Of course, young Tommy Sharp, the sharpest man we know, over $2,500, I think it was, or around $2,700 he's raised over 2 years as far as shots. So for every dollar raised, that's one shot that needs to be taken. So, of course, poor old Tom explaining that that could be a pretty tedious 3 hours, but it's a worthwhile 3 hours. So, again, really support everything there. The Rise Above the Rim leadership program there out at Glenorchy. They're, leading the charge with this one. A lot of clubs here in Hobart, a lot of individuals, a lot of businesses supporting. Of course, going to see that involved in Launceston as well. So, jump online, get on board, register, have a good night. You might even run into us too. We'll probably be floating around during the day.
Be somewhere.
Of course. So, always good fun, always a good cause, and, really always good to be involved with that one, Ronnie.
Yes, and a fantastic event. Great to see it's still going very strong indeed, and really looking forward to seeing the whole basketball community being in two places. You've got the Launceston basketball community, now you have the Hobart basketball community getting behind it. Absolutely fantastic to see. Credit to Simon Hall and his team down at Glenorchy, and of course the Rise Above the Rim leadership program as well too, which has done wonders for most of these up and coming young players. There we go, I got it out. Up and coming young players at Glenorchy as well too. Great to see. We also have the school clinic. Not the school clinics. What are school clinics, Joe?
The school holiday clinics.
School holiday clinics. There we go. Just taking us a couple of days to get back in the gear. But of course, next week, school holiday clinics will be running, and we're going to give it another plug right here, right now, JB.
Yes, graphics on the screen as per last week. But again, we're going to be at Newtown. We're going to be at Warrane. Very, very good inclination that Rex the Rhino has been busting his backside over the last. Busting his backside over the last few weeks. He is ready to be game day fit for anyone that's going to be turning up there. They'll be at Creek Road. They'll be at the Warrane Basketball Stadium, April 18th and April 19th and April 20th. I'll get that one right. April 19th and April 20th. There you can register for the day at I think around $55, or you can register for 2 days at $90 there. Rex the Rhino will be there.
Yes.
Our star imports will be there. Angelique, Page and Devon will be there. You'll get a chance to catch up with Sam McDaniel, who's only just recently signed with the Brisbane Bullets in NBL free agency. And, of course, the big kicker, Ronnie, for all the kids that get there, you will get a free ticket to the home opener next Friday on the 21st. So get in there, have some fun, get your ticket, and not only can you learn from these guys and gals from how to play the game, how to be a professional, but you can also turn up on game night, cheer them loud and cheer them proud there at the Hobart Sport and Netball Centre. So again, they'll be at the Warrane Basketball Stadium on the Eastern Shore, the Hobart Sport and Netball Centre, affectionately known as Creek Road here on the other side of the river, and they are bound to be very exciting indeed. So encourage everyone, grab a ticket. We've got links in the description down below the video, also on the Facebook page as well. Jump on board, grab a ticket, and then come along to a Chargers game after that as well.
Absolutely. Get around it, and I can tell you for a fact, Rex Rhino has been working hard in the gym. I
heard 3 times last week,
yes,
Ronnie.
I've heard he's been down 3 times this week. Apparently he's going down on the weekend to do a bit of gym work as well.
He's
too.
a lot more dedicated than some members of the Chargers TV family.
Absolutely.
We only indulge in the 12-ounce curl on the weekend.
That's right. That's right, JB. Absolutely. But no, we'll have Rex down there as well too at the clinics. It's going to be fantastic. Always a fun time of the school holiday period. And of course, there's only a week to go before they all come running back to school. So make sure you register, sign up, get down there, and then come to the home game on Friday, or next Friday night on the 21st. Going to be an absolute ripper of a game up against the Ballarat Miners. And again, as we said, more to preview on that in next week's show. That will pretty much wrap us up here from Swisher Hoops Academy. Once again, JB, a few people in the house here tonight.
Yes, once again, a few people here tonight. We've got a couple of pickup games going on. We've got a few members just casually shooting around.
Yep, we do.
A few people getting some individual work, and Caleb Nash are working hard to keep that heater occupied over there at the reception desk. A shout out to you in the future, Caleb, there. But
yes.
No, another pumping night here, Ronnie, and of course, as we mentioned, the NBL1 season is going to roll in once again this weekend. The NBA is really getting to their playoffs as well. There's a lot going on right now in hoops. So, again, if you want to keep up to date with all the things going on in Hoopland, Ronnie, let's tune into Chargers TV and we'll bring you as many updates as we can.
Absolutely, JB. It is a must-see TV. You put it
just ask us, we'll tell you.
Absolutely, and of course we should. Now I should be fair here. Also, to make sure you get around the NBL1 socials as well too. They're pumping out a lot of stuff as well.
There'll be an NBL1 website, the NBL1 app. You can find them on most social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, alike. And, of course, we will have game links out this weekend.
Yes, we will.
Respectively Saturday and Sunday, so you can see them through the NBL1 app, the NBL1 website. And from what we can gather, having had some comms with the league, it seems that all the bugs and the issues that they had in round one with all the basketball action that was going on, they seem to be repaired and they seem to be ready to go. So we're locked, ready to go, Ronnie, for what's going to be a bumper weekend in round 2 of the 2023 Coles Express NBL1 South season.
And on that note, we will sign out here from Swish Hoops Academy. On behalf of Justin Bryan, I'm Roll Riggs. We will see you next week here on Chargers TV.